In this video, I'm going to detail how every NFL team can win Super Bowl 58. Some teams are in a lot better position to do so than others, but like Justin Bieber once said, never say never. Starting off with the Arizona Cardinals, Roger Goodell creates a new rule determining the Super Bowl winner by alphabetical order. And since Arizona is the first team in the league going alphabetically, they are automatically declared Super Bowl 58 champions. What an accomplishment. Atlanta Falcons. With major questions at quarterback, the Falcons lean fully into their run game as they successfully prevent opposing offenses from ever touching the ball all season long by draining the clock, never punting on 4th and short, and recovering every onside kick they get. Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore makes the playoffs as long as Lamar's healthy in the regular season, but once there, Lamar decides to leave every game early to take a shit. The mere thought of somebody shitting gives Odell Beckham Jr. an erection. Taking advantage of this, Baltimore then decides to give Odell the ball in every play, knowing that defenders won't want to tackle him because they fear touching his wiener. This leads to an unstoppable offense and Baltimore's third Super Bowl championship. Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen finds the strength to abstain from having premarital sex with Haley Steinfeld, is that how you say her name? I guess. Whatever, she's hot. All season long, which gives him superpowers so he can finally defeat Burrow and Mahomes in the playoffs and then win the Super Bowl. Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young gets surgery to make him even shorter than he already is, so defenses can't see him on the field. Using this Ant-Man type of ability, he ends up running for 100 touchdowns on the season as Carolina goes 20-0. Chicago Bears. Roger Goodell creates a new rule where the winner of every game will be determined by which quarterback had the nicest highlight reel that day, meaning Justin Fields can continue to suck for 95% of the game and still win. Using this new rule, the 2023 Bears make the 1985 Bears look like Cubs. Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow simply needs to earn his clutch status by not shitting his pants in big moments for the third straight year. He did it late in Super Bowl 56 versus the Rams. He couldn't put them away, and he had a chance to win the AFC Championship game again, 2 drives, with the score tied at 20 last year versus KC, and couldn't get it done. Hey Joe, time to come through in the clutch and actually earn your nickname as Joe Cool. Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett mistakes Deshaun Watson for Mason Rudolph during the second game of the season versus Pittsburgh and accidentally kills Watson with a helmet to the head. The Karma Gods reward this by making Dorian Thompson-Robinson the next Tom Brady, leading to the first of 6 Super Bowl rings in the next 20 years for Cleveland. Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones gets so upset by the lack of Dallas player arrests compared to the glory days of the 90s that he cuts the entire current roster and signs 53 death row inmates using a special work release program. All other NFL teams are too scared to take the field for fear of being murdered, and the Cowboys win the Super Bowl by default. Denver Broncos. Slippery Sean Payton sneaks marijuana into the water supply of all Broncos opponents, making them clumsy and allowing Denver to dominate all the way to another Lombardi trophy. Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell tells Roger Goodell he will crush his head with his pecs if he doesn't allow the Lions to put an actual lion on the roster. Goodell gives in and the Lions use the lion to attack and kill any opponent who gets near the end zone. Unsurprisingly, they allow 0 points all season and win Super Bowl 58. Green Bay Packers. Taking the term cheeseheads to the extreme, Matt LaFleur has his players build up immunity to the stench of spoiled and rotten cheese during training camp and preseason. Once the season starts, Green Bay players hide spoiled and expired pieces of cheese in their jock straps during games, which cause their unsuspecting opponents to faint from the smell, giving Green Bay a massive advantage and a Super Bowl title in their first season of the Jordan Love era. Houston Texans. The 31 other teams die in plane crashes for the second straight year. Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson, adopting the Big Tony nickname I made for him, turns out to live up to his full potential from day one and just completely destroys everybody with his massive appendage, a la Nick Foles in the last 2 games of 2017, helping Indy coast to a championship. Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars, taking a page out of Dan Campbell's playbook, force Goodell to allow a real-life Jaguar onto the roster. Already armed with blazing speed, the Jaguar gets hopped up on HGH and becomes unstoppable, running for 4,500 yards and 70 touchdowns as he wins league MVP and Super Bowl MVP. Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes doesn't die, and they also keep Carl Sheffers on the payroll for clutch moments. Las Vegas Raiders. Jimmy Garoppolo pays for all of his teammates to get facial reconstruction surgery of his face, so all of his teammates become as handsome as he is. This results in all opposing players getting too turned on to focus on the game, giving the Raiders an easy 20-0 season. Los Angeles Chargers. With Joe Lombardi gone, Justin Herbert finally stops throwing checkdowns like a little bitch and uses his bazooka of an arm to throw a bunch of awesome deep lasers for scores like 4 times a game, helping the Chargers go from perennial underachiever to Super Bowl champion at last. last. Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford's new teeth blind opposing defenders from seeing anything, which makes the Rams offense unstoppable, and Cooper Kupp even more invisible. They finally get back to their 2021 form when they won Super Bowl 56. Miami Dolphins. Tua gets so many concussions that his brain eventually ends up forgetting how to get concussions, which keeps him on the field for a change and makes his connection with famous pacifist Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle so deadly it leads to a Miami Super Bowl. Sorry, Dan Marino. Minnesota Vikings. After seeing how well he and his family came off during the quarterback Netflix documentary, the football gods finally allowed Kirk Cousins to have sustained playoff success and give him a Super Bowl trophy and Super Bowl MVP out of pity. New England Patriots. Bill Belichick, feeling pressure from Robert Kraft to finally win again, uses Sith mind tricks to lure Tom Brady out of retirement, which, combined with Brady's devil luck, helps New England go 20-0 despite not scoring more than 15 points in any game because Tom Brady motivated his defense so fucking hard with inspirational pregame text messages. That shit doesn't get you horny, I don't know what will. New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr fully embraces his ability to cry on command and ends up crying so hard on every play that opponents slip all over his tears, which prevents him from being sacked all season. Without having to worry about getting hit, he leads New Orleans to a Super Bowl title and redeems his legacy. New York Giants. Daniel Jones' extremely close eyes finally merge together to form one giant eye, which greatly increases Jones' field vision, helping him finally break out into a great quarterback. Then, as the playoffs progress, typical Giants BS breaks their way at crucial times a la 07 and 2011 to bring home another Lombardi. New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers dominates during the regular season, but he gets hurt late in the year, so he can't play in the playoffs. Zach Wilson, who had gotten hooked on ayahuasca thanks to Rodgers, comes in and dominates the rest of the way, leading the Jets to their first Super Bowl win since 1968, redeeming his legacy as a draft bust, all while high as shit, and making everybody realize he stunk his first 2 seasons because he was playing sober. Philadelphia Eagles. Try not to get fucked over by the referees on a 46 mile an hour and a 45 mile an hour zone ass flag at the most crucial moment of the fucking Super Bowl, or play on a compromised field that negates your historically dominant pass rush again. Come on, Eagles. Be better than that. Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett gets hand enlargement surgery to become more respected by his teammates, while Mike Tomlin finally realizes Najee Harris sucks and instead gives Jalen Warren 300 carries while instructing Pickett to only throw to George Pickens at all times, even if he's triple teamed. This simple strategy obviously leads to a 7th Steelers Super Bowl. San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy does not regress into quote-unquote Brock Turdy. Get it? Kyle Shanahan stops using Deebo Samuel like he's Tavon Austin, and the defense stays healthy, led by Nick Bosa, who will come into the season extra motivated following Donald Trump's arrest and mugshot. Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith proves he wasn't a fluke. Pete Carroll continues to look like Brandy Love, which distracts opponents who frequently watch porn. Once in the playoffs, Carroll puts all of the chewed pieces of gum he's kept in his office drawer since 2010 on every player's helmet to make them sticky so Seattle players can catch the football with their helmets. This genius move leads to Geno completing 100% of his throws in the postseason and another Seahawks championship. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Armed, no offense to Shaquille Griffin, with a starting quarterback who isn't going through a divorce for the first time since 2021, Tampa Bay once again wins a terrible division to squeak into the playoffs. Right before the start of the playoffs, Roger Goodell announces that the Super Bowl champions will get to eat for free at any Cheesecake Factory for life. Baker Mayfield then proceeds to throw for 3,000 yards and 20 touchdown passes in just 4 playoff games, giving Tampa its 3rd Super Bowl title in history. Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill gets hurt early in the season, but thanks to a terrible division, Tennessee remains in play. In order to fix the awful Malik Willis, head coach Mike Vrabel tells him to pretend his teammates are actually defenders. Willis immediately skyrockets into superstardom, throwing for 70 touchdowns and 7,000 yards while having a dominant title run in the playoffs, and also stealing teammate Will Levis's smoke show girlfriend. And finally, the Washington Commanders. With Dan Snyder finally gone, with $6 billion more in his pocket from selling the team, hooray America! Washington begins its turnaround. New quarterback Sam Howell looks like a fatter and deformed Baker Mayfield, so opponents feel kind of bad for him and let him throw touchdowns at will so Washington can win. Just like one of those old My Wish segments on ESPN where they let the kid with terminal cancer run untouched for a 20-yard touchdown. This generosity from opponents happens all the way through Super Bowl 58, where Howell is named Super Bowl MVP while eating a raw potato on stage. Well, that's it for this year's edition of How Every Team Can Win the Super Bowl. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you took everything I said in this video seriously, because this is a very serious channel, and I'm a very respected football mind. If you haven't yet, please press that subscribe button button. I'm closing in on 200,000 subscribers, which is crazy to me, but I'm not even close to scratching the surface of my full potential. Thank you all to everybody that supported me. Keep subscribing. I love you.